greeting to one and all. Dear friends, myself, Dr. S. B. Kishore, welcome you all in the today's session, major parts of research paper. So in the today's sessions, we are going to cover the following points. We will discuss what is research paper, then the kind of format that you need to follow while writing the research paper, then the parts of research paper, and we will also discuss about archive. Okay, so let's start with what is research paper. A research paper is an essay in which you explain what you have learned after exploring your topic in depth in a certain format. It means whenever you are writing a research paper, it means that you have a certain result that you would like to know to one and all. Okay, it means you want to explore your result to all the people so that they will follow your paper. Okay, so that is what the basic motto behind what writing a research paper. Writing and publishing a research paper is one of the important tasks while doing a research. Remember, as UGC also specified that you need to write certain few papers while doing your PhD. So what is going to be happen when you are writing a research paper? It will give an acknowledgement regarding the work that you are doing or completed in the form of what? A citation. It means if someone is following your paper and is referring your paper in his own paper, it means what? You are getting a citation. That is what we are calling acknowledgement to your work. Research paper contains a various parts and require a lot of effort to write a paper. It is not a simple task. You need to follow certain format while writing a research paper. So of course we are going to discuss what are those parts. So before that, let's see what is the format of research paper. This is the format of research paper where it starts with a title, then the researcher details, guide details, followed by you need to specify the various parts while writing a research paper. Of course, we will discuss all of them one by one from the next slide onward. Before that, whenever you are writing a research paper and you are publishing a paper in a certain journal, a publisher always specifies certain rules and guidelines or instruction in order to write a research paper. Usually, it contains what? A A4 size paper, followed by it specify the margin that you need to specify while writing a research paper, then the line between spacing, whether it should be a single column or double column, and so on. So always read all those instructions before writing a research paper. So now what are the parts of the research paper? So these are the parts of the research paper. We start with a title, then researcher and guide details including the mail IDs. Then you need to specify the abstract, the overall view of your entire paper, then keyword so that one will be able to refer your paper quickly or he will be able to access your paper quickly, followed by the introduction. And introduction part again consists of the various subparts like hypothesis, review of literature, determining the research question, and the research objectives. Now here the meaning has been given in Hindi as well as in the Marathi. Okay, followed by a description again which consists of the data collection, detail analysis, and the research methods and the methodology that you have followed in order to perform your research work. Then you need to explore about the result, discussion, future scope, references that you have used, acknowledgement, details of author, and appendix. Now some of the parts are what? They are the optional. Okay, so we will discuss all those parts which are optional during our session. So what is title? It is one of the most important part and through which or through this only the viewer may follow your paper or reader may follow your paper. Simply by viewing or by reading the title of the paper, one may or one may not follow your paper. So that's why your paper should be specific to the content that you are describing in your paper. Okay, it should not be too technical. Okay, so that only few people are going to understand. So you are going to write a research paper so that everyone should read your paper. So that's why make sure that your title is not too technical. And always remember for whom you are writing a research paper. So according to that, you need to specify the title of your research paper. For example, a survey on the effects of tuition classes among school-going children. Is it a specific topic? Of course not, because there are a lot of things which have been missed in this particular title. Let's say from the above title, it is difficult to know whether we are talking about any specific class. For example, whether we are discussing about the urban student or rural or Jilla Parishad or state or international school or those students who are engaged in a sports class and have what? Tuition classes. Okay, so it means this title is not a specific, and that's why make sure that whenever you are putting a title, it should be a specific. And before deciding the title of the paper, always visit Shodhganga or Google in order to avoid the duplicates of the title. Okay, so make sure before writing any title and visit these sites in order to get the exact title you should have for your paper, and try to make that it should not be a duplicate. Next part comes the author. The person who did the actual work or write the paper accordingly, you are going to list the names of all the author. Usually the first author or presenting author is the one who is writing the paper and followed by the other contributors. One need to include the affiliation and the mail ID of the contributor for others to communicate to get some idea or clarity regarding the content. Now question arises, why you need to specify the mail IDs? Because after referring your paper, if someone have a certain doubt or need a certain clarification, so he should be able to communicate you, and for that purpose you need to specify what? The affiliation. Usually the format is something like this. The first author is basically a researcher, followed by the guide and followed by the research center guide. Okay. For example, now here you need to always specify yourself as a researcher if you are doing your PhD. Though you may be assistant professor or associate professor or having a certain designation, but if you are doing a research, always specify yourself as a researcher, followed by the subject and followed by the center where you are doing this particular research. The CHLR is basically referred as what? Center for Higher Learning and Research, followed by the name of the college where you are doing or name of the university, and at the end you need to specify what? The affiliation, name of the university, and don't forget to specify the country name, and at the end specify your mail ID so that someone is going to communicate to you. Now, instead of writing this affiliation, there is another way you can use what? The ORCID number. Okay, so you can create this ORCID number by visiting orchid.org. And now, what question is, what is ORCID? An open research and contributor ID, a unique ID number that has been given to each and every author, because it might be possible that there may be a n number of people having the same name. So in that case, there may be a doubt may become who is that particular author. So that's why this ORCID concept has been evolved. Okay, so which makes clear or which generate a unique ID for each and every author. And like I earlier said, the third author is usually what? A research place guide details. Now, if both are the same, in that case, you can ignore this one. Okay. Then the next important part is what? Abstract. An abstract is what? It is simply a preview of your overall paper. It generally consists of the two paragraphs of say 150 to 250 words. Okay. It summarizes the problem, what is the problem, then what is the purpose of writing this paper, then the kind of method that you have followed, and the kind of result that you are expecting after solving this problem. Okay, so in short, we need to define the problem statement over here. It should not be too technical, and one should not use a kind of abbreviations or citations or footnote in abstract. So avoid all these things while writing an abstract. In short, abstract should be what? It should be able to retain the necessary concept without complete elaborations of the paper. Please remember, we are simply summarizing the overall paper. Okay, so it should give an enough idea to viewers or your readers that what you want to convey. Here, in the first paragraph, specify what the problem is. In short, author should highlight the major purpose to solve this particular problem. Okay, like I earlier said, abstract is basically usually consists of the two paragraphs. So in the first paragraph, specify what the problem is, and in the second paragraph, specify the result likely to be get after solving that particular problem. Okay. Many publishers, peer reviewers, researchers check out the abstract section to decide whether to further examine your paper or not. So understand the importance of this abstract. Okay. Simply by referring your abstract, someone may follow or may not follow your research paper. So that's why make sure that you have written abstract properly and correctly. So it is always says that be a peer reviewer of your own paper. That is, reread it, and make sure that everything has been mentioned properly or clearly. Like earlier said, people may download your paper by reading what? The abstract only. So make sure that you have written your abstract properly. So next part is what? It is an keyword. Now question arises how you are searching someone else's paper, because it is not possible for everyone to remember the title of the paper. So usually we search by means of what? A keyword. Okay. So make sure your keywords are very strong. It should be able to determine your paper when someone is going to search. So now how to specify this keyword? Major terms that are appear during your writing a paper are basically what? A keyword. The purpose of keyword or tag in a research paper is help to other researcher to find your paper when they are searching for the topic. Okay, that is, keyword make your paper searchable and ensure that you get a more citation. It means if someone is searching your paper and is referring your paper, okay, so there is a chances to get much more citation for your paper. So that's why make sure to put aside your keyword properly. So most electronic search engines, database or general website use what keyword to decide whether and when to display your paper to an interested reader. Assume that you are written a certain keyword in your Google, so you may get a thousands of paper. Now how to search your own paper? So that's why it is important that put such a keyword so that your paper will be always on the top. Okay. Journals, usually publishers or journals ask to specify the at least 5 to 12 keywords in your research paper. Now there are few tips. Think first from the reader point of view, that is what kind of keywords will the reader will use to search or to retrieve your articles. It means think yourself itself that what kind of keyword I should specify in my research paper from someone else's point of view, and try to search your own paper. Okay, so if you are getting, it means you have specified the keyword properly. If you are not getting your own paper, it means you need to make certain correction, you need to amend certain keywords. Okay, your keyword should not be a single word. It may be a phrase in the form of a 2 to 4 word. A single word keyword is acceptable, but they may lead to many false matches. Okay, for example, if you want to search heart disease and if you are written simply heart, what is going to happen? When you are writing a heart in a Google search, you may get a thousands of pages. But when you are writing the heart disease, what is going to happen? It will compress that list. Okay, so that's why use a proper keyword. You can also use, there are various tools in fact in order to generate the keyword. The one of the best is what? Rapid tag. So using by specifying the title, you are able to generate the keyword for your research paper. Next part is what? Introduction. The introduction summarizes the relevant literature related to the title so that reader will be able to understand the intentions of the author behind taking this as research. Okay, so why you have chosen this particular topic? Okay, that is going to be conveyed by this particular introduction section. It will highlight why you have chosen this particular topic and what is your intention in order to solve this particular problem. Introduction part may consist of what? The hypothesis and a review of literature that we will discuss in our next slide. Usually 2 to 4 paragraphs are enough to introducing the concept and related literature. Now, and always end your introduction part by a sentence specifying what kind of experiment you are going to carry. Don't forget it. Okay, introduction part must be end always specifying what you are going to do in order to solve the particular problem. Here the researcher determines the specific research question, that is why it is necessary and how it is different from the previous one, and conclude with the research objectives. So when you are writing the introduction part, you should always specify the kind of question that you are going to solve and how this question is important in order to solve this particular problem. Okay, and also specify the objectives behind solving this particular problem. During the literature review, you might have come with a certain parameter that has been not chosen by the earlier author. So you may highlight here how this parameter may affect the overall result. So when you are reading someone else's paper, it might be possible that you feel that certain parameter has been not included, and if it has been those included, the result might be different. So you should highlight all those points also. So let's talk with hypothesis. What is hypothesis? A hypothesis is a specific testable prediction about what you expect to happen in your study. For example, you may consider that there were 100% faculty members in a school. Okay, it means that students are still going to the tuition classes not because of what the availability of the faculty members, but due to some other reason. So here, what is the hypothesis? The 100% faculty members were available in the schools, and that is not the reason for going a tuition class. So you can easily take this kind of hypothesis. Then what is the literature review? A literature review is a written text in a book, journal, conference paper, or articles, or any other sources, okay, through which you are referring certain material related to your topic. It may include the existing knowledge, including the essential findings, as well as the theoretical or methodological contribution to a particular topic by a different author. A different author might have worked on a particular topic, and it might be possible that you are extending their work. So it means you are following all those papers before writing your own paper or before continuing with your own work. A reference shows that you have carefully reviewed the relevant literature and now contributing something novel. This list of references at the end is basically consists of what the kind of paper that you have referred. It means the kind of literature that you have referred. So it will significantly specify the quality of paper that you are referred before writing this particular paper. So always make sure that you are referring a quality of paper before writing or before doing any kind of work. For example, what earlier studies have been carried out by a different author on the related topic as the researcher is going to carry out, just we have discussed. Okay, so always make sure to refer and highlight all those points that have been described by the earlier author and also specify the weakness during their paper or their work. So be careful about citing the old references, especially in the science subject. Okay, because every day something new changes are going to be take place. The rule of thumb is to go back at the most 5 to 6 year old papers only. Okay, don't refer the too old papers. The next important part or section is what? Description. It includes the data collection, followed by the detailed analysis that you are going to do, and finally the research methods and methodology that you have followed. A data collection and analysis. It is a process of collecting the information from all the relevant sources to test the hypothesis and evaluate the outcome. Data can be collected from the primary sources or using the secondary sources. The primary sources means those sources that you have performed yourself. It means it might be possible that you are collecting certain information by means of various mechanisms or by means of doing a certain practical. Okay, so when you are doing when you are collecting a certain data, it is what? It is referred as a primary. And secondary means you are referring certain books that has been highlighted by someone else author, book, references, website. Okay, these are some of the other sources through which you may collect what? Data. So those data are referred as what? The secondary sources. Use the appropriate methods and tools. Now it is also referred as what? A user research toolkit, like observation, interviews, surveys, record inspection, brainstorming, Delphi. These are some of the common methods through which you are able to collect what? Data. It is not necessary that you are going to use only an individual method. It might be possible that you may combine some of the methods in order to collect your data. For showing the data that has been collected, and always make sure that don't ever try to manipulate the data in order to get a proper result. Okay, use always the actual or factual data. A researcher must specify the materials and the research method that have been followed to carry out the research work. Just we have seen the various methods, so you need to specify the kind of method that you are going to follow in order to carry out your work. Also specify the details of the experiment work that the scholar has to undergo, if any. Also specify the detailed steps. Okay, you may specify in the form of steps that you need to perform this operation, then this, like that only. So you can specify the steps in order to performing those operations or in order to carry out that particular work, so that if someone else is going to perform the same operation, he should also get what? The same kind of result. And that is what the basic intention of what? Writing all those steps in a proper manner. Methodology means what? You have selected certain methods, so now it's a time to prove the kind of method that you have selected in order to perform this work is the true or is the correct one. So in simply, Methodology means proving the method that you have selected for doing a research is what? It's a correct one. In short, here the scholar must provide the enough and detailed information so that other people may repeat your experiment to check the researcher claim. Like earlier said, someone may carry out your work and check whether he is also getting the same kind of result that what you have, the kind of result that you have already got. Okay. This section may include a diagram, chart, table, flowchart, algorithm to explain the method that have been followed by the researcher. Okay. A proper title to table, diagram and chart is what? Of course, it should be. Usually, the entire description part may consist of about 6 to 8 paragraphs. Okay, so where you need to specify the data collection method, then the methodology that you are following, okay, whether it is correct or not. And you can also go to analyze all your data by means of various tools. So, what are those various tools through which you are able to analyze? Of course, we will discuss in one of my next video. Next and most important part is what? Result. Because due to this result only, you are writing a research paper. Since you got a certain specific result and you want to convey it to one and all. And that's why you are writing a research paper. So result is one of the most important part of the entire paper. Here one must specify the result and its features. That is, specify the relevant result of the study and its importance. Why it is important. So you should specify all those things in the result section. While specifying the result, do not specify the problem that you may face or encounter. Do not specify your own problem. Okay? And do not discuss the result or speculate as why something is happened. Again, it might be possible that you may not get a proper result. So don't try to discuss why you not got that particular result exactly over here. One can include a non-textual element such as table, figures and images in the result section too. Usually we don't follow, but it is not necessary that result section cannot be contain a table figures. Okay, you may include. Also summarize your main findings in the textual format. Okay, so these are some of the important parts that you need to specify during your result section. The next part is what? Discussion and conclusion. Here, highlight the significance of the result without repeating what you have already specified in the result section. So, highlight the importance, the point that you have achieved after solving this particular problem. And don't try to repeat what kind of result that you have already specified in the result section over here too. Relate this result with your original question specified in the introduction part. And for this, you can also use what? A supported hypothesis if it is necessary. Since you have already put a certain question in the introduction section and you also specified certain objectives in the introduction part. So try to relate your result with that in the form of what? A certain discussion. It means whether you got the result or not. That the result that you are taught at the beginning. So it means that you don't need to always get a positive result from the result outcome. That is, if your results were unexpected, try to explain why. We know very well about the Edison. 1,000 times he has failed and then he is able to evolve the bulb. Okay, so it is not necessary that whenever you are performing certain research, you are always expecting a certain result, no doubt. But it is not necessary that you are always going to get that result. So it may be because due to what? The wrong method that you have followed in order to solve this particular problem. Okay, so discuss why you didn't got that particular result. And usually it contains what? A textual element only. It doesn't include the images, graph and chart. Also discuss whether your results are consistent. It might be possible that you have solved the particular problem in a certain environment. Okay, and if you tried to solve this particular problem in some other environment, whether you are going to get that kind of result or not. So that's why it is necessary that discuss whether your results are consistent. If no, then specify under which environment. That the conclusion section is where you summarize your result to the question posted in your problem formulation at the introduction part. Again, you need to specify what? You need to summarize your overall results in textual form and make the strongest statement you can make based on your findings. After solving a certain problem, you might got a certain result. So specify how it is important, how it is relevant with a current knowledge. So finally, end the discussions of your conclusion by emphasizing why it is relevant and usability to the society. Remember, we are solving a problem so that everyone is going to get certain help after solving that problem. So you need to specify the result that you have got, how it is important to a society. The next part is recommendation and the future scope. Mention the limitations of the research due to its scope. Of course, one of the major parameter is what? The limitation is what? It's always the time. Okay. So mention the limitations of the research due to its scope. You have decided a certain boundaries in order to solve your problem. So whether you are able to achieve that particular boundary or not, and whether it is also possible to cross that boundary in order to get a somewhat better result. So you can specify all those things in this particular section. So mention the limitations of the research due to its scope. As you got enough ideas about your work, offer a suggestion for the future research related to the area of interest for the new researcher. It means you are giving a guideline for the new researcher if they want to continue with your work with a certain new parameters that you are not able to perform because due to what? Time limitation. So you can specify all those things in your future scope and also specify whether your research can be further extended or not. So in short, we can say that one may address the following point in the recommendation and future scope, that is limitations of your research and constructing a same research in a new context, locations and the culture, in a new environment, how it is going to be differ if you are going to solve the same problem. Finally, the most important part, the references, which gives an in fact enough idea to peer reviewer and evaluator or moderator to check the kind of quality of the paper or books that you are refer. Okay, so this section is used to specify the relevant paper, books, web pages, etc. that you have followed during your research work. There are several possible ways to organize this section. It means you can specify your references in the form of what? AMLA, APA, IEEE format. Okay, so it is based on the discipline and subject that you are following, or as asked by the generals. And the next part is what? Acknowledgement, which is basically an optional part. It may be used to thank all those who help you during your writing of work or during your research work. The next part is details of author. Again, it is an optional part. One may use to specify the details about the authors, including the photos. No doubt we have already specified the mail IDs and our affiliation, but apart from that, you can also specify much more details about yourself in this particular section. Again, remember, it is an optional part. Some of the generals exclusively ask for writing this part. The next part is appendix. This is again an optional part. When you feel that an information you would like to include in the body of paper is too cumbersome or may distract the reader, then you can include such supplement material in the form of what? Appendix, for getting more detailed information about your topic. Assume that instead of writing an algorithm in the main paper, you can put all those algorithms in the appendix part. Because when you are writing an appendix in the main part, it might be distracted readers. Okay, so you can put such kind of thing in the appendix part. If you have only one part, then you can use what? You can write only appendix, and if you are more than one part, you can label them as what? Appendix A, Appendix B, and Appendix C, and so on. So it might be possible that you may put certain papers in Appendix A, in Appendix B, you may put certain images and figures, and like that. Okay. So these are the total major parts of what your research paper. Now, please remember, when you are writing a research paper, someone is referring it. It is always what? A top-down approach. It means that first of all, someone read what? The title, then the affiliations of the author, followed by the abstract, keyword, and so on. But when you are writing a research paper, the method is what? It's a bottom-up approach. It means first of all, you are collecting the data, then you may specify certain methods in order to solve that particular problem. Then you get certain conclusion, and on the basis of that, you may write the introduction, and at the top, at the last, you are thinking about what? The title, abstract, and keyword. Okay. So when you are writing a paper, it is a bottom-up approach, while when you are reading a paper, it is what? A top-down approach. So these are some of the references. So I hope that you understood all the major parts of the research paper. So with that, thank you very much. Have a nice day.